Hey, everybody, it's Terrence K. Williams here, and I am with the one and only. She needs no introduction, Lara Trump.
Oh,
my
thank
sister.
You. Well, I'm so honored to be here.
Well, I'm so honored to have you.
Thank
you so much, Lara.
Yes.
I love you.
I love you too.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
I appreciate your friendship.
Aww.
You have treated me like a brother, and my goodness.
Thank you.
God bless you. Lara, I got a question to ask you.
Yeah.
Who are you voting for? Trump or Ron DeSantis?
I think we know where my allegiance lies.
Okay.
And I think, Terrence, as we head towards 2024, November of 24, people are going to look around, and if things aren't bad enough already, they are probably going to get worse. We've got train derailments. We got China floating balloons over the entire country. Forget about the wide open southern border. Inflation, gas prices are standing on the world stage. The disrespect that our country is now receiving from other countries and adversaries like China. And I think people are going to say, we need to fix this. Right. And who better to do that job than someone who's done the job before?
Exactly.
And so my hope is people will recall that Donald J. Trump once did an incredible job as president, and they'll vote for him again like I plan to.
Because he will put America first again.
The Republican Party has always been this party of, we want to do everything by the book. We want to follow the rules. We don't want to step out of line. Those days are over. If the Democrats are ballot harvesting and doing all of this sort of business that is, you know, some places it's legal, all the places it's legal, we better be doing it too. And we better be doing it far better than they are doing it. If they're infiltrating, you know, our youth on social media, TikTok, Snapchat, whatever it is, we better have the same plan out there.
Right.
Because if we don't, we're already losing the game before it's even started.
Exactly.
And so I think that obviously we know the mainstream media is on their side. We know that they have control over a lot of what Americans see via the censorship on social media. And so you couple that with the fact that they really were ahead of the game. The early voting, the ballot harvesting, all of that, they outplayed us, quite frankly.
Right.
And I think that is why we were not more successful in the midterm elections. And going forward, if we are not doing those things the same way, if not better than the Democrats, then we don't stand a chance. Right.
You know, it really pisses me off because I see the Democrats, they have the winning strategy.
Yeah.
They play the game, and Republicans refuse to play the game. We need to do the same things that they are doing.
Yeah.
We need to do it. They are giving out free barbecue.
Right. Yeah.
Giving out chicken wings and hot dogs and chili dogs, passing out popsicles.
Yep.
Well, we need to be out there passing out popsicles too.
Exactly.
If they're going to come out to vote for popsicles, then we need to pass out popsicles too.
If they're standing on college campuses and ballot harvesting and collecting all of those votes, then we need to go to NRA meetings. We need to go to wherever it is that Republicans are gathering in big quantities. Yeah. And we need to be doing the same thing.
And they are busing people in.
Oh, well.
Busing people.
That's for sure.
Taking people to the voting stations.
Yep. So we have to
giving people rides.
Mm-hmm.
We will pay for your Uber. We will pay for your Lyft ride. We'll pay for your taxi ride.
Yep. We got to do it the same way.
We got to do it. I mean, or if we don't, then how are we going to win?
That's exactly right.
How are we going to win? Now, what about mail-in ballots?
Oh, look, I wish that we could go back to one day of voting, election day voting, and that we could make it maybe a federal holiday so that everyone has off of work. I can tell you can take your kids to go vote, because I actually took one of my kids with me to vote when she wasn't in school. And so to me, that's the best way to do it, because the mail-in stuff, it gets very tricky. And I understand absentee ballots for our men and women overseas who are serving America.
That should be able to do that.
Or if you have some sort of a health issue, you can't leave your house. I get it. There are extenuating circumstances, but most people can get out and stand in line and go vote on election day if we had some sort of a federal holiday. But the truth is, we're not there. And so we do have to contend with the mail-in voting. And I think
that's the reality.
It's tricky.
And it's not going anywhere in 2024.
Exactly.
It's still going to be in place in 2024.
And so we better have a plan.
So should we be pushing mail-in ballots?
What?
In 2024?
I don't think we should push it, but I think we should push people to vote as early as possible, because
as early as possible.
There always has been this notion that if you're a Republican, you go vote on election day. And I get it. Most people like to do that. I did that this time, but I've voted early many times before. Right. And if you are sure that your vote is going to get counted, then you should go out as early as those polls open for you to vote, bank that vote. And then you go out and work on getting other people in to vote instead of waiting around until election day to do it. Right. We've got to start changing the way I think that we look at elections at this point, because the truth is there is no plan to change it back to election day. There is no plan to get rid of mail-in voting. These are things we have to contend with. And so we better figure out a good strategy going forward. Otherwise, I don't know what the point is of any of it.
How do we win over Gen Z? How do we get those young voters?
I mean, I think that I've been actually very pleasantly surprised and inspired by what I have seen. You know, you have like Turning Point USA, who's out there reaching out. I think PragerU does a great job. But the truth is, it's got to be within the culture, because the culture right now, look, these kids are all on their phones, right? And they're all on social media, and they're all looking at celebrities as their guides for everything. And so I think it's going to take more celebrities being bold and brave and coming out and actually speaking their mind and not worrying about cancel culture and not worrying about, you know, all the repercussions of that. And it's so sad, quite frankly, that we live in a time where you can't come out and talk about your true feelings politically, just about life, where you stand on certain issues, because people are afraid if they don't fall in line in lockstep with what the Democrat Party says you should, they will get canceled. And you've seen it time and time again, but I think we need to get more people who are willing to stand up and be leaders in that space and show our younger generations, you know, why I feel that way. And, you know, sadly, I mean, for some people, it's just going to have to be, they're going to have to go through the pain of what happens when Democrats get control of things. Look where we are right now.
Look where we are right now. Right.
And so I think, you know, it's a process. It's going to take some time, but we better start working to address that issue and to reach out to a younger generation of Americans.
I think we need to, because look at the midterms. Gen Z showed up.
They really did.
They showed up in big numbers.
Yep.
And over 90% of them voted for Democrats. Mm-hmm.
And
that's scary.
We have our work cut out.
Like you said, you know, sadly, they listen to celebrities.
Yes.
And they do what their favorite celebrity tells them to do. Mm-hmm. They say, go vote Democrat. That's what they do. So we do need more Republican, more conservative celebrities to stand up. But like you said, they're scared.
Everybody's scared.
They're scared.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they don't want to get canceled. Mm-hmm. And some of them may have kids. Yep. They have $50 million mortgage.
Yeah, they want to keep their jobs. They want to continue doing what they're doing. I get it.
And they know if they speak out, they're going to lose everything. Mm-hmm. And I mean, so I get it, but we need people to stand up.
We do.
We need people to stand up.
Sooner rather than later.
And really fight for this country.
Yeah.
Because if we continue to let the Democrats win, you're going to lose everything anyway.
And, you know, sometimes
you're going to lose everything anyway.
It's true. Well, they'll have to find out the hard way then.
You're going to find out the hard way.
That's the problem. And I think so oftentimes about, look, it's my last name. Everybody knows where I stand on things. I can't escape it. And I think sometimes, had I not married into this family, had I possibly watched the wrong news outlet or gotten my information from sources where I think a lot of people do, gosh, I wonder how I would think about certain things. The truth is, I know, because I am part of this family. I know who Donald Trump is. Right. I understand who the conservatives are in this country and what we stand for and what the goals are. I understand all of the lies that have been told about so many of us, but I can see how easy it is that people fall down that trap and that hole. And whenever your friends are all out there saying, oh, well, this celebrity said this and this is how we have to vote, it's hard.
Beyonce said
it. It's really hard.
Beyonce said Trump is racist, so Trump is racist.
Oh, well, exactly. Yeah.
Why do you think Trump is racist? Because Rihanna said so.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, what?
Yeah.
What? No, because Rihanna said so.
Yep. Exactly.
But you know what? That's why the media is the left media is so dangerous. They play the same thing over and over again. When people hear the same thing over and over again, they start to believe it. Trump is racist, Trump is racist, Trump is racist.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's based in any fact.
They keep hearing it over and over again, over and over again, and they just start believing it.
Yeah, it's really scary.
So that's why we need you to run for office. Oh.
It's all on me now.
Yeah, we need Lara Trump to run.
Oh my gosh.
Lara, we need you.
What do you want me to do? What's my plan?
What you mean, what is your plan? Lara, you love this country.
I do love this country.
And if anybody's going to stand up and fight for us, it's going to be you.
Well, thank you.
It's going to be you. So stop dodging the question. Stop dodging it, because you've been dodging it for a long time.
Oh my gosh.
Every time somebody asks you on TV, Lara, have you ever thought about running, being a senator? You always say, well, you know, I'm going to focus on, no, Lara, answer the question. Could you see yourself in the future, maybe not the near future, but maybe one day, could you see yourself as a senator?
Sure, absolutely, without a doubt. Yes. And I really did consider running for the Senate seat in North Carolina this past midterm cycle. But truly, I knew that my priority is my family.
Right.
And that is priority number one. And I think so many people out there understand that. My kids are really young. Right. They're 3 and 5. And to be the kind of mom for them that I really felt like I needed to be, I could not have been the senator for North Carolina that I would have needed to be simultaneously. Right. And so I made a decision not to run for that seat. But yes, of course, when my kids are a little bit older and a little more self-sufficient and they don't need me physically around as much as I am now, I would love to serve our country in whatever capacity I possibly could. And it's crazy for me to say that, because prior to my father-in-law getting involved in politics, I never would have even considered that. But I have seen the process. I've seen the people, for better or worse, who run for, different positions up and down the ticket. And I've seen the impact that can be had on the American people. And to go out around this country, which I've gotten to do now twice, to campaign for my father-in-law. I guess I'm doing it a third time coming up soon.
Yes, let's go.
It really is incredible to hear people's stories, to hear the direct impact that some of the policies my father-in-law implemented and how it affected their lives. And so I've seen all sides and all facets of it. And to answer your question very directly, Terrence, yes, there is a place in the future that I could totally see it.
But you know what? You said you're not ready.
Not right now.
You're not ready right now. And that's okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
Some people need to understand, when you're not ready, don't do it. Like AOC, she was never ready.
Well,
she was never ready. She should have stayed bartending.
But see, this is the problem. There are people who really, it's mind-boggling that they have been elected to these positions, and then they keep getting reelected. And it actually, it's frightening, because the role that the media and Hollywood, again, have played in their elections. And it's not people going out voting for these individuals based on like their qualifications or what they could bring to the table ultimately. It's because they're being told, this is the person for whom you should vote. And that's it. And they just go out and do it. It's terrible. I
have no clue why anyone will vote for AOC. No clue at all.
It's a shame. It's really a shame. And you look at the things, especially in New York. Remember when she ran out Amazon from New York? Amazon was going to bring like thousands of jobs to New York, to her specific district. Needed. Yes, that people were desperate to have. And she ran them out. And it's just, she's gotten her 15 minutes and some, and I'm sure she's going to ride that as long as she can.
I saw she had a Netflix special too.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
She has a documentary on Netflix.
Is that one I should write down to watch? Should I put it on my to-do?
Do not watch that. Whatever you do, it will not be good for your health.
I will tell you, did you ever watch the Anthony Weiner one?
No, I didn't watch that one.
That's an interesting one.
Every time I turn on Netflix, they're always pushing some agenda.
Of course they are.
Always. I was watching this show. It was called The Upshaws. It's with this comedian named Mike Epps and Wanda Sykes. Mm-hmm. Wanda Sykes is so liberal. And she's a Trump hater.
I know. And it's so sad, because I really think she's hilarious.
Yeah, she is hilarious.
Ugh, it's such a shame.
She is hilarious. I just wanted to see what the show was like. It was kind of funny. And I was like, you know what? This show is good. I don't like Wanda. I don't like Wanda, but I like this character that she's playing on Netflix. And but anyway, so I was watching it, and Mike Epps is like the dad in there, and Wanda's like the mad like the mad sister-in-law, like the evil sister-in-law. But anyways, Mike Epps and his wife were leaving, and they left the kids at home, and they let the older child. So they had their older child watch the younger kids.
I can't wait till I can do that. P.S.
Right, and
not anytime soon.
Not anytime soon. You got a long way to go.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked the kids, "Okay, guys, we're leaving. Mom and Dad are going on a date. What is the number one rule when we're gone?" They all said at the same time, "Don't open the door for Republicans."
Oh my gosh.
I said, come on. I was enjoying the show.
It's so sad.
Now I gotta turn it off.
Why is it infiltrating every aspect of our lives? I'll start watching something. The same thing happens. And I'm trying to think. There was something recently I watched. And the whole time I was watching it, I was like, there's an agenda here. Right. And if I didn't know any better, I would fall for it. But I know better, so I'm not going to fall for it. Can we just go back? Can we just rewind to like 15 years ago and just enjoy a show and not have to drag all of this into it?
Not pushing some agenda.
Oh.
Not stuffing the show with propaganda.
Well, and it's
annoying.
It's not just Netflix. Look at, like, I went on Hulu the other day because every now and again I try to get out of the political mindset and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just need something mindless to watch. So I'm like, let me see what's on Hulu. The only thing it kept recommending for me is 1619 Project.
Oh,
like, why is this recommended for me? Are you guys kidding me with this? This is not recommended for me. I know what y'all are doing. You're just trying to get everybody to watch this.
Yeah. And so speaking of that, there was this one movie that I watched on Netflix. It was probably about 3 years ago. It was some scary movie, some guy that was stalking these women.
Oh.
And she was like, "Oh my God, the guy next door, he is so creepy. He's like Trump creepy, like Trump locker room creepy, you know, Trump grab him. Yeah. I'm like, come on. Now I gotta watch a new movie.
They're obsessed with him.
Now I have to find a new movie to watch.
The truth is, they're so obsessed with Donald Trump, they can't help themselves.
How was the White House? Like,
oh my God.
I can't even imagine. Like, well, I think I've been to the White House.
You sure have.
But you were at the White House a lot. Like, so how was that? Like, did you ever sleep at the White House?
Yes.
Well, like, did you sleep in the Lincoln Room?
I sure did.
You slept in the Lincoln Room?
Yes.
Man, come on.
Well, here's the crazy thing.
That's awesome.
Like, when in your wildest dreams, and remember, I'm a girl from a middle-class family in North Carolina. I never, ever imagined I would be part of anything like this. And so that the first time we really went into the White House was Inauguration Day in 2017.
Yes.
And we actually got to sleep there that night. It is so surreal and so incredible. And it's so funny because now I see like the movies where they recreate parts of the White House and I'm like, that's wrong. It's not how that really is.
That's not my room.
No. Well, I didn't have my own room, but it's amazing. And it never ceased to impress me when I went there, how special it was, what an important house that was and building that was and the history and all of it. And the amazing thing is the staff at the White House is so incredible. They are such wonderful people that every time Eric and I would show up there, they would go, "Welcome home." And I'm like, we're at the White House.
That's amazing.
Is crazy.
So you never imagined that growing up.
Well, who could?
Right. Who could, right?
Who could ever imagine being part of any of this? And I still see myself as the same person who left my parents' driveway to drive to New York City all those years ago, never imagining I would meet Eric Trump. I didn't even know he existed. I still feel like I'm the same person, and I just feel very blessed and grateful. And look, there's a lot of crazy stuff that comes with the great stuff as well. But I'm here for all of it. And what an experience.
I've never met anybody who slept in the Lincoln Room.
Oh.
So, I mean, how was it?
Do you want to touch me?
Yeah. Yes. Oh, my God. She was in the Lincoln Room. I'm never washing his hand again.
Never wash it. Yeah.
So, I mean, like, were the beds like Tempur-Pedic?
Look who's calling me.
Oh, Lynn Patton's calling. Lynn Patton's
calling. I love it. She'll make an appearance on the show.
Yes, she has to.
I don't even remember. The only thing I remember
Are they better than hotel beds?
Well, nothing's better than Trump Hotel.
Oh, okay.
Beds.
Okay.
Actually, my kids have the most comfortable mattresses on the planet. And every time I'm putting them in bed and I kind of crawl in bed with them, I'm like, ooh, I'd really like to stay here. I won't say what company those are from. But I do remember the only thing I recall from the Lincoln bedroom is that the television is kind of far away from the bed. And anyone who's ever spent time with my husband, Eric Trump, will tell you that he is a big fan of giant TVs, as big as you can get them, everywhere possible. So I remember when we were there, Eric was like, why is this TV so far away? Why is it so small? So he had a real issue with that. Otherwise, I mean, it was amazing.
So Eric Trump is one of those guys who need 80-inch TV in the bedroom.
Everywhere.
He needs a movie theater TV in the bedroom.
He would love that if you can help him out, please.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Wow. So how was the food? Was the food
good? Amazing. The food is amazing there. Actually, I remember the must have been inauguration day. It was such a crazy day. And this was our first time there. And we were all changing from the day where we kind of were in the parade situation and then watching the parade end to then we had to change into the ball gowns because they had the inaugural balls that night. And none of us had eaten anything all day and we were all starving. And so the staff there they were so nice. They came up and they were like, can we get you anything to eat? And of course they're detailing all of this, Dover sole with the little potatoes and some beurre blanc.
Stop making me hungry.
I'm like, can I just have some sweet potato fries? Is that possible? They brought me the greatest sweet potato fries. But of course, I have also done some fine dining there as well. And the food's amazing. But of course, my father-in-law loved the McDonald's to bring that in.
Yeah, he loves the McDonald's. So when you stayed the night at the White House, were you allowed to go in the kitchen and make some noodles, go in the kitchen, make a bowl of cereal?
Wow. I think so. They kind of acknowledged it as our house. You could walk around there. I wasn't, confined to the one room. Do you know there used to be a gym there that I used? I don't know if it's still there or
for
not.
Real?
It was on the very top floor.
Oh, wow.
And I feel I may have been the only person
to go to the gym.
Many years.
So it was probably small, right?
It was good enough.
Yeah.
There was a treadmill. There was an elliptical. We had some weights. Yeah.
The White House was great. And I had the honor of going to the White House. So I never stayed there. I wanted to stay there. But I remember my first time at the White House. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. It was so nice. When I first walked in, I was about to take off my shoes.
Didn't want to mess anything up.
I didn't want to mess the carpet up.
That's a rule at my house, by the way. We do that.
Yeah, so I didn't want to mess the carpet up. This looked like some good carpet. But I was so honored to be there. My first time there. And President Trump called me to the stage.
Aww.
And I got to speak on stage right next to Trump.
Amazing.
I was blown away. I still can't believe it.
I know.
And Trump is so tall. He was like, what, 6'7"?
No, I think he's 6'2".
Well, I'm 5'5", so he's 7 foot to me. So, I mean, I'm looking up at Trump like he my daddy. I'm like, oh my goodness, standing right next to him. I wanted to hold his hand.
Well, next time maybe you should. Let me know how that goes.
I wanted to hold his hand and give him a hug. But I really love President Trump and all the things that they say about him in the media.
Ugh.
All lies.
It's so
the
frustrating.
Man is not a racist. He doesn't have a racist bone in his body. He's generous.
Yep.
He's kind. And he treats everyone with respect.
And
now, if you don't like him, then he's probably not going to like you either.
Yeah, that's right. I was going to say
I'm the same way.
He's the same Donald Trump that he has been for decades. And that's what people fail to remember. I will say, I'll give Obama, some credit. He was a great speaker, an incredible speaker.
Right.
But then you get him off stage and he's probably a little bit of a different individual.
Right.
Joe Biden, I mean, God bless us all, but we don't really know what's going on with Joe Biden at all.
Yeah.
We have no idea. The thing about Donald Trump, people always would criticize him for being too brash or too harsh with the way he did things or said things, or we don't like his personality. He's the same guy. You know who that is. And don't you want somebody who's authentic, who's real, who's not giving you a fake version of themselves?
Right.
To me, I don't know that you could get better than that, because that's, you really know what you're getting. And for all those people who would criticize him for, the kind of harsh way that he would say things, sometimes you need to hear the truth. Right. Sometimes you need to have the tough love. And that is also what our enemies respected. And that's why they never tried anything with America.
Yeah, people kill me when they say, oh, Trump personality. Oh my God. Doesn't have a good personality. Shut up. Who gives a damn? Obama supposedly had a great personality on TV.
Yeah, on stage, he was great.
On stage, he had a great personality. Mm-hmm. But what did he do for America?
Exactly.
Absolutely nothing but destroy this country. So I will take the guy who personality is you don't like his personality. Oh, well, I'm voting for his policies, not his personality.
Well, and if there's anything that taught us specifically that voting for someone based on a personality is a completely flawed way to vote, look at where we are now. They made the 2020 election very much about a personality versus personality. Right. You have Joe Biden. He's like the old grandpa, the statesman. He will bring dignity back to the White House. He's a kind soul and all this. What a bunch of hot garbage that was. Right. And where did it ever get America? Look at how quickly we have fallen. Look where we are in America right now. If people didn't learn their lesson about voting based on personality and not based on policy, not based on results, not based on America first and what's best for our country, I mean, man, you're never going to learn anything, because that's what I think 2020 showed us more so than anything. And as an athlete myself, I can tell you, I hate to admit it.
What kind of athlete are you?
Oh, I mean, I've played every sport possible, but currently I'm a triathlete. I do CrossFit.
You do work out a lot.
I do. I try.
When I'm scrolling on Instagram and I see you working out, sometimes I feel bad. I'm like, man, I need to work out.
But I hate to say it. Men are built differently, and they're just made to, unfortunately, excel more so than women in sports. Yeah. And so to consider putting someone who was born a man with a male frame, with muscles that are different than women's, with all the physiological differences, to put a man in a woman's sport, obviously the man is going to win. And we've seen it. And it's so unfair. So any of these people trying to tell you that they care about women and women's rights, absolutely not.
They don't care.
Of course they don't.
Letting some muscle-bound man that looks like a he, she, whatever it's supposed to be, compete with a woman.
No.
Is not fair.
No.
It's not fair at all. It needs to stop. But Laura, I'm trying to get in shape.
Okay.
I'm trying to get in shape. I don't know. Give me some advice. Like, I'm trying to get in shape.
Well, you're welcome to come work out with me.
You work out. You work out a lot. So
I sure do.
I saw an article from Time magazine.
Oh.
I also saw one from CBS, and they said that fitness and exercise is racist.
Oh my God. Yes, that's right. Because privileged individuals can work out.
So Laura, according to the left, if you work out, you are racist.
That's right.
So Laura, are you getting in shape because you hate black people?
Obviously. Like, if everything is racist, then nothing is racist. And that's the problem, is it's so constant and it's just such a, like, in your face all the time. People are like, are you kidding me? Now working out, that's racist too?
It don't make sense.
It's so stupid.
So every time, so Laura's on the treadmill because she hates black people.
Well, if you ask the right individuals, I'm sure they'll confirm that for you.
I just don't get it. Why is everything racist?
That's the problem. Why? Because then when there actually is something that is racist, then no one pays attention to it. Because it's like the boy who cried wolf. You say it so many times, people tune it out and they're like, oh, another thing like that. And then whenever you actually should be paying attention to it, people aren't going to.
Yes.
And it's such a shame that that's what it's come to. But it's just like everything else. If somebody doesn't do something exactly the way you want it, then they're this, they're that, they're racist, they're homophobic, whatever it is, you just throw it out there and see what sticks. And it's really sick because in this day and age with social media, with the internet, with all of it, you say something about someone and someone is going to republish it. Someone will put it up on your Wikipedia page and make people think that about you. My Wikipedia page is the most disgusting bunch of lies you've ever read about me. And there's basically nothing I can do about it because they won't change it. They'll cite some like obscure website who published some nonsense article about me decades ago. And they'll say, well, that's what we use to source this. And so we're going to keep it up here. It's so sick. It's disgusting.
I saw something. They said that Laura is a bad parent. Laura is this for letting my kid ride his thing in the rain? No, when you were drinking wine.
Shut up. When I was drinking wine?
You remember when you were drinking wine?
Oh, my daughter was crying.
Your daughter was crying? Yeah.
I thought it was funny. You can't do anything.
The left, oh man, I saw so much stuff about that. But back to the racism. Listen, I understand that some people may be racist.
I'm sure some people are.
Some people are racist. There are hateful people in this. There are hateful people all around the world because you have good people and you have bad people.
Correct.
But I don't think America is a racist country. Maybe it used to be a long time ago, but look at where we are at now.
Yeah. Well, you could certainly point to our history. Yes.
Yes. Of course there was racism back in the day. That's why Martin Luther King did what he did.
Yep.
You know, that's why we have the Civil Rights Act. Mm-hmm. But this is not the 1960s anymore.
Yeah.
I'm a black man. I'm blacker than black. I'm blacker than Obama. And I have Lara Trump here with me. This is my show, my podcast. Not Laura's, it's mine, and Lara came on this podcast.
I drove a far distance to come here.
Lara drove a far distance, knowing the gas prices are so high.
Right.
Knowing the gas prices are so high, to come and talk to a black person. That is not racism.
Well, and I think most people, if you ask them, will say, I think most people see equality when they look around America. Right. Because where else do you have, it's not the equality of outcome, it's the equality of opportunity. And nowhere else in the world do you have the equality of opportunity like you have here in America. Right. I think most people are good people. I think most people want to see others succeed. I don't think most people are racist. Are there some? Of course, but that's anywhere you go around the world. But to blanket, make a blanket statement about a political party or about people with a certain name or whatever it is so stupid. And it defeats the whole point of even talking about it because, again, people start to tune it out because people are like, enough. I can't hear it anymore.
I remember when I was working, in the kitchen, I used to cook in the kitchen. And this was in my younger days. When I was in high school, I had a boss named Steve. This guy was, I hated this guy.
Oh, no.
I hated this guy. And I thought for a moment he was racist. I said, this guy has to be racist. Like, he called me into the office and some of his colleagues had flew into town. And he called me into the office and said, Terrence, tell my colleagues how you disrespected me when I went out to the grill line. And tell them how you looked at me and said, F you, Steve. I said, I never said that. When did I say that? I never said F you. What are you talking about? He said, well, you might as well have said it from the way you looked at me.
Oh.
I said, what?
Ooh.
And he said, Terrence. I said, this is harassment. He said, harassment? He said, if you don't like it here, just quit. I said, quit? Why would I quit? He said, well, he said, I'm not going to fire you because you think you're going to get unemployment. He said, I will make sure that don't happen. So you should just quit if you don't want to be here. I said, no, I want to be here, but I love this job. I just don't like you. And then I saw him treating, now majority of the people were black that worked in this kitchen, but I started seeing him talk to some of the white people. Like I started seeing him treat white people like, excuse my language, like shit. They were coming to me complaining, Terrence, Steve is an asshole.
He was just equal across the board.
I said, Steve is not racist. I apologize for calling Steve a racist. Steve is just an asshole.
And you have that.
He is just evil to the human race. He doesn't like humans.
Just a miserable person.
Yes, he's just a miserable person.
There are some of those out there too. Yeah.
But some people will say, oh, well, just because he was white and I happen to be black and he was treating me like crap doesn't mean he's racist. Some people are just assholes.
That's true. We always have to remember that.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And I was thinking this whole time he was racist.
Yeah.
Until I started seeing white people complaining about his attitude and the way that he was treating them. I said, wow, well, Steve is treating everybody like this. But just because you don't like somebody or someone is rude, someone disrespects you doesn't mean that they are racist.
Of course.
Doesn't mean that at all.
But that is the knee-jerk reaction now, because that's everyone is it's just ingrained in such a way by everyday life, by the media, by everything we see out there, that unfortunately a lot of people jump to those conclusions. And I think it actually makes issues so much worse. Because if you would have just thought, well, God, this guy's just such a douchebag, right? Like he's horrible to everyone from the beginning, then you wouldn't have even had to go there. But it's so sad that that's, how you had to even think about it.
How many times have you been called a racist?
Oh my God. I mean,
can you count on two hands?
I'm sure many, but and you know what? Initially, it is so heartbreaking when something like that happens, because obviously I know that's not true. And obviously people who know me, and those are the people who ultimately matter, know that that's not true. But it's very hard. I mean, to be labeled as whatever it is that we have all been labeled as, that I have been labeled. It's a very challenging thing to hear those things said about you initially, but you have to remember, I know who I am. I know the truth. I know my heart, and the people who know me best are the ones who ultimately matter, and their opinion of me ultimately matters. And you just have to brush it off, and you have to get thick skin. And it's so hard to do. It's so much easier to say it than to actually do it. And I mean, I'm sure you've probably learned that the hard way as well. Right.
I just imagine it's hard. So many people have called Trump a racist, and the media has done him so wrong.
I know.
And they have so many people believing that Trump is a racist. And the fact that you have that last name, I know it has to be hard sometimes.
I go into situations. I assume most places I go, people don't know who I am. I just go in thinking I'm the same person who drove out of my parents' driveway to drive to New York. Nobody knows me. And then when people have to ask for my name for something, or I have to give them a driver's license or a credit card for something, and they look at it, there is always a moment where I'm like, this person either really likes me or really hates me. And it doesn't feel good to be in that position. But you know what?
It shouldn't be like that.
It shouldn't be like that. Of course, it shouldn't be like that. But again, you know what? I'm proud of all the things that I've done. I'm proud of supporting my father-in-law and all of the things that he has done for this country, for the people of this country. And so, you know what? I hope that even if the people who take my credit card and realize who I am, I hope that if they think they hate me, they leave that experience realizing that I'm a human being, that I'm a nice person, that I treat everybody with kindness and respect and dignity, because that's what I always try to do. I always try to leave a situation with somebody who might know who I am, saying, well, she was very nice, because I try to be. I really do try to be.
So do you still have Secret Service?
No, not for a long time.
No Secret Service?
Nothing. I know they're going to try to come after me now.
Oh,
No. Usually the family of the president, their time with Secret Service ends 6 months after the president leaves the White House.
Okay.
So the president and first lady have Secret Service for life, but the family only for a short time thereafter.
Well, if Trump was my father-in-law, I would be with him every day so I could be around Secret Service.
They're incredible men and women.
I don't want anybody to beat me up.
No, here's what I'll say. The people of the United States Secret Service, the men and women, are some of the most incredible Americans, their service to this country. I mean, I think it goes overlooked oftentimes. They're away from their families so much. They're doing a job where they know at any moment things could, it's just like a police officer or, folks in our military. I give them a lot of credit, and it was such a pleasure to be around them. And I have just the greatest respect for all of them.
I remember when I first went to New York and I went out to eat with you and Lynn Patton, and you had Secret Service.
Yeah.
And they were not dressed in all black.
Yeah, they tried to blend a little.
Yeah, they tried to blend in a little bit. It was like, I think it was like two guys. They were just like randomly
hanging out. Yep.
Not eating anything.
Sitting at a table and having a water.
Yeah, just having a water.
Totally.
Yeah, so, the Secret Service is great because they protect our presidents.
Yes.
Protect the family. And I was asking because if this podcast don't work out, Laura, I was going to ask if y'all needed a bodyguard.
We got to start working out, Terrence. We got to see what you can do.
Can I be y'all bodyguard?
Yeah, we'll have a tryout.
I will be the fun size bodyguard. The only thing is this: y'all might have to help me fight.
Make them laugh, and then we'll run.
Yeah, that'll
be the plan.
I'm gonna run with y'all. I'm gonna be like, y'all, we gotta get the hell out of here. They coming for us, y'all. No. Terrence, you're supposed to be protecting us.
Oh gosh. Well, if we get there, we'll call you.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
I would love that job. I would love that job.
I'd like to see you in that role.
If this podcast don't work out.
It's the next career for you.
Right.
You've done quite a bit.
Yeah.
In a short amount of time. I'm looking at your cousin T's.
The pancakes,
and the maple syrup. You got a
pure
book.
Maple. No high fructose corn syrup.
How hard was it to write a book? Can I ask you?
Well, I did have some help.
See, I
had some help.
I feel like I have so much information and so many experiences that I've always thought like I should write a book, but it seems so overwhelming a task to me.
Yeah.
To actually put it all down on paper.
You should write a book. We want to know about the story of Lara Trump. We want to know about the story of Lara Trump. Was Lara Trump ever a super liberal?
Oh my God, no. No.
You were not a liberal?
No, sir. Mm-mm.
You were not. So
no.
Is your whole family conservative?
Yeah, but I didn't really, it wasn't something that was like on the forefront that we talked about. I think like so many people didn't really talk about politics, if we're being honest, until Donald Trump came down the golden escalator in 2015.
A lot of people started talking about politics.
And look, love him or hate him, he reinvigorated Americans and their interest in politics. Because before that, I mean, people were voting, people were semi-interested, but no one was as focused on politics as they became after Donald Trump decided to run for president. And it's still going. People are still into it. So yeah, when I was growing up, I mean, I certainly was raised with conservative values, but we never really talked about it, to be honest with you. I just knew the things that my parents stood for and the things that I appreciated that they stood for. And I stood for them as well. And so, that's just all I really knew about it. It wasn't like a really deep conversation, but yeah, I grew up, believing that you should love this country, that we're the greatest country in the world, that, that we got to keep it that way, and freedom. And I mean, we're not going in the right direction right now, unfortunately.
So there we have it. Lara was never super liberal.
No, I didn't.
Not at all.
Didn't have like green hair and like a bunch of nose piercings or anything either.
So well, that worked out well, because do you think since your parents are conservative, right? Mm-hmm. They support President Trump?
Of course.
They support President Trump? Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, that would have been very awkward otherwise.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's some of our friends or some of our friends' families. It's been a really
have you lost
big challenge.
Have you lost any friends?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Have you lost some friends that you never thought you would lose?
Yes.
Like, wow, are you kidding me?
Yeah. And it's hard. It's really sad because, I mean, for me, I would never end a friendship based on politics. This was always on their side of things. It's so silly.
It's childish.
But you know what? They're so their decision to kind of distance themselves from us comes from a place of I mean, I hate to use the word misinformation, but they're misinformed.
Right.
And they've gotten bad information. And when the media beats the same drum, as you were saying earlier, over and over again, it doesn't matter if it's true or false. If you say it enough times to people, people will start to believe it. And they'll start to think, well, if I continue to hang out with this person who's part of this family, then I'm doing something wrong. And that's sad, but I think that's what happened.
It is sad. I lost a lot of friends.
I'm sure.
A lot of friends. So I totally understand. And I just didn't get it. Because I told my friends, listen, I'm the same person you've been hanging with.
Yeah.
I'm the same Terrence. Mm-hmm. I am the same person that you have always known. The same person.
I know.
So you are going to let Donald Trump, you're going to let my conservative views end our friendship that has our long-term friendship?
I know.
It's ridiculous.
It's terrible. And I have never done that. I am still friends with people. I have a couple of friends who I know they don't support my father-in-law. And you know what?
And that's fine.
You do whatever you want. This is the United States of America. You can vote for whomever you would like. And that's okay with me. We don't even have to talk about politics, but it is hard. Because it's always like the elephant in the room.
Right.
We get together and we talk about other things in life, but obviously politics is a big part of my life and it's a big part of who I've become. And it is very challenging, but I would never end a friendship based on the fact that somebody views things differently than I do. I would never do that.
And I sometimes, I do have some friends who are not Trump supporters. They don't like Republicans. And some of them don't even really know why.
Yeah, most of them don't.
They don't even really know why.
It's because they've been told that they should dislike us.
But this is the thing, though. And sometimes we do get into arguments, but not because of me. When I'm with my friends, I do not bring up politics at all. Yeah. I don't bring up.
Neither do I.
I do not bring it up. Laura, we've had lunch. We've had lunch plenty of times. You and Lynn and I. And we didn't even talk about politics.
I don't think we did either.
We didn't talk about politics.
About life.
Life. Yeah. What's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
it can be done.
It can be done.
I know.
But some of my friends who are sensitive when it comes to Donald Trump, they bring up Trump. I don't even bring him up.
So crazy.
So did you see what Trump said? I'm like, oh my goodness.
Here we go.
Yeah. Please don't take it there. Please don't take it there. I had a friend who came to my house and she started talking, and I didn't bring up Trump or anything. Didn't bring up Trump. She started bringing up immigration. This was about a year ago. I'm like, okay, what are you talking about? She was like, one of my friends, I never told you this, but one of my friends happened to be an illegal immigrant. I said, okay, well, that friend was deported. And that friend was deported and she was separated from her family that was still in the States. I said, okay. She said, so I just don't understand how you can still support Trump. I said, well, Trump is not even in office right now.
I was about to say, this is a year ago.
Trump is not even in office right now. Where are you getting at with this? Clearly you still support him because I saw a hat. I'm like, oh my goodness. I said, did you know that Obama deported more illegal immigrants? When Obama was the president, when he was in office, during his administration, they deported more illegal immigrants than President Donald Trump. Way more.
What'd she say to that?
I don't know about that. I never heard of that. Trump had these kids in cages. I said, Obama built those cages. Yep. I pulled it up. I said, look. She said, well, I'm going to have to read that when I have free time. I haven't heard about that. I'm focused on what I know. Trump is separating these families. I have friends who want to get away from they want to get away from bad people over in Mexico or whatever. And she was just going on and on and on and on. I said, I said, people have been deported. People were deported during Obama's administration, George Bush.
Yep.
It's been going on for decades. Trump is not the first person to deport someone.
Yep.
And she didn't even believe it.
He's Donald Trump, if you want to talk about doing the most humane thing, is the one who had the fewest border crossings because people knew not even to try to come into America. Don't even try to take the treacherous journey up through Central America, up through Mexico, into the United States illegally, because it's not going to work out for you. You're not going to get in. So you think about a third of the women are sexually assaulted who make that journey. You think about how many people die making that trip up through Mexico into America. Those people did not make the trip when Donald Trump was in office because they knew not to. And now you want to talk about something terrible? Historically high border crossings during the Biden-Harris administration with Kamala Harris, our border czar. And I mean, you have to say that with like air quotes because it's so outrageous. That is the worst possible thing you could do to people because these people are incentivized to make this journey. They come here because they know they can get in now.
Right.
And yeah, maybe they get deported. Maybe they die coming here. Maybe they get raped on the way. Maybe they're paying, the drug cartels thousands and thousands of dollars, their entire life savings to come here. It is disgusting. It's terrible. That is the worst possible thing that could happen. It's happening right now.
Yeah. They can't get enough of Trump.
Obsessed.
But they know deep down inside that they need Trump back.
They desperately want him back.
They know we need Trump back in office.
They want that trip from the White House to Marine One where he would stop and talk to the press. Man, those were the greatest moments ever.
Right.
They're desperate for it back because they have the biggest dud in the world in the White House right now. What an embarrassment. You can't even say he's asleep at the wheel because he doesn't even know he's at the wheel.
Right.
So like do they need him back? All of them.
So when Trump is president again, when he is
47th
president.
Yeah.
45th, 47th. Well, when he's president again, because I do believe he's going to win. I'm voting for him and I do believe he is going to win.
Me too.
I pray to God Trump is president again.
We need him.
I pray to God. What are some things that you would like to see get done?
Well, I think we have a lot of things that we have to get back in order. First of all our freedoms. I mean, just at a basic level, our freedom of speech seems to have been revoked for many of us over the past 2 years. It's felt like you can't say anything, you can't speak your mind, you can't post, you can't, all of that stuff. We need that back intact because that's the foundation of our country. And medical freedom. I mean, people don't really talk a lot about this, but the idea that anyone was going to force Americans to have a vaccine, to have a medical procedure against their will or risk losing their job or risk, not having reentry back into this country, whatever it is, those sorts of things. I mean, that's a very dangerous area to play around with when it comes to Americans. So I think there's a lot we need to get just the basics and fundamentals done. And look, I really feel like for the future of this country, we need to fix our educational system because if we don't do something now, our kids are already so far behind other developed nations. They fell farther behind during COVID. You look at the fact that you have some areas of this country where you have 0 students who are proficient in things like math and can pass a basic test. They're removing standardized testing because it hurts some people's feelings or whatever the rationale. Those sorts of things we really need to get a handle on, I think.
I believe that.
Because 30 years from now, those are the people who are going to be in charge of this country.
Right.
And we're going to, talk about hurting now. It's going to be bad in the future.
Yes.
So, that and obviously just let's make this country great. China trade
that's
deals,
why school choice is really important.
Yes, it absolutely is.
School choice is really important.
Yep.
And I believe school choice would have helped me in the past.
There you go.
When the school in my district was really, really, really bad. Mm-hmm. And when I was able to go to school outside of my district, when I went to high school, I was far behind.
Yep.
They were testing us on stuff that we should have learned in middle school. And I was like, so I was far behind. I didn't know anything. I was doing really, really bad. And they said, Terrence, these are things that you should have learned already.
Yeah.
did you not pay attention in school? I'm like, did you not learn this at Maroney? No, I went to Rogers Middle School. I did not learn this at all.
Yeah.
So I was far behind. But we wanted to go to school. We wanted to go to other schools, to better schools, but we couldn't.
Right.
Because your mailbox is on this side.
I know.
And, you know, you live 1 minute away, so you can't go there. It's so dumb.
Yeah, no parent should be forced to send their child to a failing school.
Exactly.
Period.
And the school I went to was bad.
Yeah.
We had to go through, it was a dangerous school too. A lot of violence up there. Kids were gang banging. We had, this is in middle school.
Wow.
I am in the 7th grade and I have to go through metal detectors because kids are bringing guns to school.
Is this in Oklahoma?
This is in Oklahoma.
Oh my gosh.
But not to shoot. Now, we didn't have any school shootings, but it was like, it wasn't like kids were coming to shoot up like an entire classroom. But kids would have guns.
Of course, yeah.
You know, they want to be Crips and Bloods and bringing knives to school. So we had to go through a metal detector every morning. And we have to wear uniforms, which is fine. I actually loved wearing uniforms because I didn't have a lot of clothes.
Yeah, there you go.
So I loved uniforms.
Yeah.
So I'm all for uniforms. And we had to wear see-through backpacks.
Oh, wow.
And before we went through the metal detector, we had to put our backpacks on the table and they dumped it out, went through it all.
Oh, wow.
Then we have to walk through the metal detector. Then we have to walk through the metal detector. Yes. Because it was a bad school.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel comfortable at that school because there were always fights. And I'm a little guy. I was going to get whooped. So I tried to stay out of fights and just make people laugh. So we do need school choice. And I know Trump is a big advocate for school choice.
Yes.
Trump is for school choice.
He's talked about it for a long time.
For a very long time. And that's what we need. But Laura, thank you so much for coming on.
Oh my gosh, it's my pleasure.
Yes. We got to wrap this up. I can talk to you all day,
well, we know
every
that
day.
we could talk. And good thing Lynn wasn't here because we would have had to make this 3.5 hours.
We would have needed about we would have needed 2 hours. But Laura, let me know where I can put in my application for
Secret
security.
Service?
Yes, for Secret Service, bodyguard. The only thing is y'all have to help me fight the intruders.
We'll protect you so then you protect us.
Yes,
I say.
Exactly.
I know.
But Laura, before we wrap this up, is there anything you want to say?
Oh my gosh. Well, I just want to say how proud I am of you.
Oh, thank you.
And how I think you are such an inspiration. Your story truly, I mean, your book is called From the Foster House to the White House. But your story is so inspiring, I think, to so many people. And it truly is the tale of America and what is possible here if you put in the work and the effort and you're willing to do whatever it takes. And you really are. And also my kids love your pancakes.
Oh, well, I'm gonna have to sing y'all some more. I'm glad they love them.
They really do. I made pancakes for them all weekend and then they had to have them again on Monday.
Awesome.
So, but you're the best. And just thank you for bringing me on. I'm so excited to be with you anytime.
Laura, I love you. Thank you so much.
Right back at you.
Thank you.